really cool. Yes?
Yeah, you spent about 4 years creating Assassin's Creed. The original ideas, did you manage to incorporate all of them into the game, or were there a few that didn't quite make it?
So the question is, we've spent almost 4 years developing Assassin's Creed. Did we manage to incorporate all of our ideas, or did some of them not quite make it? So the answer is, in game development, you always have way more ideas than you ever get to make. And the other thing is, we were really lucky working on this game because we got to create a brand new franchise from scratch. And you don't often get to do that in games, right? So the whole team, we consider ourselves really lucky. And we've all worked on games where, the first game was made, and then the bosses say, okay, great, make a second one, and you had no plan at all. And then you go, okay, right, well, the war is over, and the story is done, and my character's old. So when we started Assassin's Creed, we thought, let's plan this in advance. Let's think of what the franchise could be, and let's think of ideas and how this game can evolve. And so there's a lot of stuff, maybe this question would come up if I asked everyone. There's a lot of stuff we're not talking about. And that's all part of the meta story surrounding it. And actually, when we were planning Assassin's Creed, we thought of, not only how the story would evolve, but some of the features and stuff like that. But on the interesting side, also, is another part of game development at the beginning is you make something that we call fake game footage. And this is usually, before you have the technology, before you have the gameplay, the team makes a video, like a little movie of what we want the gameplay to feel like. And we made a movie, which I don't think I have here today, unfortunately, otherwise I'd show it to you guys. But we made a movie that has our vision for Assassins in it. And what's interesting is, when you look at that video now, all of the gameplay that we had in that video is actually in the game, and the game actually looks better. So, which hardly ever happens, actually. Usually you make this video and you think, oh, you make it as amazing as possible, and you never end up reaching that. So I think the team can be pretty proud. Anyways, I'm proud of the work that everyone's accomplished. Thanks. Yes? Yeah, so the question is, are the voices in the game going to be translated into all of the languages? And yes, they already are, and it's already done. We announced that we were gold, I think, yesterday, and all of the localization is done. And in fact, I'm currently here in London, but I've been also, I was in Madrid yesterday, and I was in Italy, and we were playing in Italy, we were playing the Italian version, and Madrid we were playing the Spanish version. So they're all done. And all dubbed, so you can play in your language. And what I've heard, I don't understand all these languages, but I've heard that they're pretty good. Yes? Oh, okay. So the question is, there's a lot of replay value. Why don't we have online? And the honest answer is that we would love to do it, but it's a lot of work. And we created a brand new engine from scratch, as well as brand new tools from scratch. And we also really pushed new types of gameplay, like getting 120 different AI crowd on the screen at once, having these huge cities where you can go absolutely everywhere, having that kind of movement capability. And if we also added online, it would have made us lose focus on the new types of gameplay. So we chose to focus on delivering a really good single-player experience, and then what we're hoping is maybe if hopefully the first Assassins is successful, we'll get to do that and just follow this one. There's hands waving way in the back here. The two hands waving, yes? Will there be any downloadable content? That's the question. There's nothing announced yet, but it is a possibility. Yes? I didn't hear that at all. Oh, multiple endings. That's a great question. That's a great question. This is related to the stuff that we're not talking about. So I can't answer that question. And which works out well for the guy who didn't want to know. Yeah. Oh, is the game going to look as good on all platforms? Yeah, actually, we've been showing both the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version during our tour. Today we have all Xbox versions, so unfortunately you can't really compare right now, but yes, it looks the same. Yes?
Obviously you've got the main assassins, the main focus of the game there, side missions where you can increase your standing with different people to help you out, or what other sort of elements are there too?
Okay, so the question is, there's the main assassination mission. Are there other optional missions or side missions where you can increase your standing with the population? And yes, there are several things that are optional actually. One of the, so we haven't shown the gameplay for investigation, but there's a lot of gameplay that's not related to the assassination that you need to do before starting your mission. So part of getting ready for the mission is finding out where your target is. Is he guarded, is he not, what's the setup, what's my good strategy. And you can do this by doing pickpocketing, so there's some pickpocket gameplay. You can eavesdrop on the crowd. There's certain assassins who are stationed in each city who have information, and if you do kind of side missions for them, they'll give you the info. There's also guys who are like, part of the, I guess, they're one of the posse if you're the target, and if you beat them up, they'll tell you some stuff. So there's all of this gameplay around investigation. Each target that you have has a total of 6 hints about how you can attack him, like plans and stuff like that. You don't need to do all of them to start the assassination. You can sometimes only do 2 or sometimes only do 3. Or if you're the kind of player who likes playing super strategic and knowing the setup completely or knowing everything, you can do them all, and they will give you all kinds of hints about the best way to accomplish your missions. There's also citizens that need to be saved throughout the city, and we really wanted to create this atmosphere of, the medieval warfare and the violence and, the population suffering because of this war. And so as you're walking through the city, you'll see the guards are picking on civilians, and if you're that kind of person who wants to help the people out, you can save the citizens, and they will then help you out. And the reward that you get is kind of like either their friends become your friends, and you can use those guys in gameplay in a lot of interesting situations. Okay. One more question, then we're going to start calling people up so you guys can play. We'll take this question here. Yes? So, I think the question is, our engine, which is the scimitar engine, I think this guy is a spy over here. How did you know the name of the engine? That's really crazy. Yeah, so our engine is the scimitar engine. It's something we created from scratch for this game, which is one of the reasons we've been working on it for so long. And it is what allows us to do things that you haven't really seen before. It's what allowed us to make these huge cities where everything is interactive. And we developed the engine for also Ubisoft in general, so we're going to use that for some other projects. Okay, great. Well, now we're going to start inviting you up here if you're interested in playing. And Max and I will stay up here. We'll give you a little overview of the controls, and then you can go unleash your fury on the demo map. Thank you.